Now, everybody knows what social media is, and I've just put together a couple of keywords. So we have blog post, online view, freedom of speech, infographics, organized, email, together we can, information, outrage, trend, email, Kony 2012, tag, Arab Spring, your voice, change, tweet, like, Occupy Nigeria, viral, citizen media, activism, global and local, share, unity, post, video, hashtag, report, photo. These are all words that were without meaning, let's say, probably about like 10 to 6 years ago. A lot of them had no meaning at all. But today they have a very, very strong meaning, and a meaning that a lot of people believe can bring change to this world, because social media unites. Now let's run through a couple of facts and figures. Over 50% of the world's population is under 30. If Facebook were a country, it would be the third largest in the world. Generation Y and Z consider email passé. That means that they don't really use email anymore, unless it's for maybe work or something. 250 million photos are uploaded on Facebook daily. Flickr hosts over 5 billion images, and Wikipedia hosts 17 million articles. I read somewhere that if you wanted to put Wikipedia in a book and read it, it would take you 293 years. 190 million tweets are sent per day on Twitter, and this is an old statistic. Social media has overtaken pornography as the #1 activity on the web. And there are over 200 million blogs. And we no longer search for news. News now finds us. Social media is about people. And social media in 2011 and 2012, I just want to look at a quick overview of things that social media has achieved in the last year and couple of months. There was the social media movement, Egypt's digital revolution, relief operations. We all remember the earthquake and the tsunami in Japan that created a social media tsunami and made sure that there was aid. There's political awareness in Tunisia's virtual voices. Take it to the streets, the London riots. It was fueled by social media. Online vigilante. Everybody probably heard about Anonymous, that take down sites. We have our own in Nigeria. The world rejoices. Osama's death was announced through Twitter. Then the political uprising, Occupy Nigeria 2012. And Catch the Villain, Kony 2012. Social media is affecting social change. Let's look at a couple of these things in a little bit more detail. So there's the Arab Spring. So somebody said that, oh, you know, a revolution doesn't need social media, and they're completely right. Revolutions don't need social media to happen. There was the French Revolution, it happened without social media. But revolutions nowadays need social media to help interlink, to help organize, to help rally, to share information much faster. I mean, think about it. When I was in secondary school, I had pen pals in Germany, and we would write letters, and every 6 weeks I would get a response. I mean, 6 weeks, really? That's like crazy. And it helps revolutions to gain momentum, and also helps to tell the real story. Now, everybody knows you were on Twitter, then you watch channels, then you watch NTA. And in between all of those, you kind of filter out what the real story was. Now, this is an overview of Twitter users and their influence during the Arab Spring. So the red dots are tweets that were sent in Arabic. Then the purple ones that are kind of like in the middle show tweets that were sent in both languages. And the blue ones are tweets that were sent in English. Now you can see that that the middle is kind of purple, and that there are bigger spots. So the bigger spots have more influence than the smaller spots. And I mean, you can't really see it on this screen, but actually there are also little lines between each and every spot showing how many other spots each spot is connected to. So the bigger the spots, the more connections between each spot. Now, I don't know how many people have heard about Kony 2012. Okay, at least a few people. So Kony 2012 is the biggest social media experiment in the world's history. There were 100 million views within 1 week. 100 million views. That is huge. It went viral, even though the video is 30 minutes long. Usually, videos that go viral are 2 to 3 minutes long, and for somebody to sit down to watch 30 minutes of video in a world where your attention span is 0.5 seconds is a big deal. The video was controversial. Millions of people tweeted it, they shared it, they liked it, they posted it, they uploaded photos, videos, they discussed it, and it blew up bigger and bigger. Oprah has 10 million followers on Twitter. She tweeted this video, and that day, that video got 9 million views. So there was a lot of celebrity influence used to actually push this video out. But what did the video do? It created a high level of awareness, which is global awareness amongst internet users. I mean, if somebody had asked you before you saw this video, what do you think about Joseph Kony? You'd be like, who's that? At least the majority, I didn't know who he was. And this was something that it appealed to the emotional side of people, and that's why people watched it. And it was an avenue for participation. So basically, the video was geared to making a positive difference on a large scale. The producers of the video said, we want to make Joseph Kony famous. When he's famous, the world will listen, and they will hunt him down. Now, did they succeed? If they did, it would mean that social media activism equals to global awareness. So now we look at a couple of weeks later when there was supposed to be something called Cover the Night. So the plan was that everybody would go out in their cities and cover the whole city with posters of Kony 2012. When I saw the video, I thought this is an amazing idea. This is what we need to do in Nigeria, and it's going to work. It's going to be amazing, and we can replicate this, and we can make change. And imagine all these politicians wake up, and they see cities plastered with "We say no to corruption. Nigeria stands united." I mean, my head was spinning, and I was very, very sad when I actually followed up with what happened to Kony 2012. First of all, I mean, there was so much controversy. There was a lot of bad press around the founders as well. One of them was naked on the streets of New York. And then the main point was that the day or the night that they called everybody out, hardly anybody turned up. This is called slacktivism. So social media activism can equal slacktivism. There were also a lot of people during Occupy Nigeria that were sending messages. Come out, everybody come out. Then you ask them, okay, where are you going? They say, well, I don't know. I'm not actually going out. And you're like, okay, stop sending messages. Seriously, if you're not in Ojota, don't send a message. You have no entitlement. No, really. And so social media was not able to push people from their computers, from their comfort zone. I like what Benga said earlier, that you need to leave your comfort zone to create change. Now, social media was not strong enough to push you from your comfort zone out of your comfort zone and actually create this change. A lot of people said, okay, you know what, the release date of the video was too far from the actual Cover the Night. Attention span of people is too short. Facebook RSVPs mean absolutely nothing. Likes mean absolutely nothing. Then of course there was the whole controversy, the bad press. And a lot of people said, okay, you know what, the Ugandan people stood up and said, sorry, but it's not like this. We have a different opinion, and please don't come and help us. All you these Oyinbo people, don't come to Uganda. We are solving our own problems here, and we are defining how we want to solve them, and we don't need your help. And Kony is not even in Uganda anymore. So I think all of these different things actually, led to the fact that it was not successful. So you have 100 million views, and then you have a couple of thousand people who still believe in it after 2 weeks and come out. And that's kind of what I think also happened with Occupy Nigeria. So the protests in Nigeria brought solidarity, and social media helped the youth to, first of all, plan and strategize, share information fast, reduce rumors and verify stories, gain momentum and amplify, tell the real story and leak information, get the facts right on a global level. There were a lot of back and forths with, you know, a lot of leaders who thought, yes, I am an authority and I know what's going on in Nigeria and, you know, I'm just going to talk. But that was not the real story, you know. And you have the politicians going on international TV and saying, oh, yes, don't worry, they're all fine. And, you know, all they need is a few buses and, you know. So, you know, I mean, social media helped us get the facts right. And it helped show the story from another side. And it excluded the government from the conversation, because guess who wasn't online? Yeah, Jonathan with his, how many, 600,000 Facebook friends, he was not even smart enough to take his page down while Occupy Nigeria. I mean, he had, on his January 1st message, he had about 14,000 comments. Yes, abuses, oh my God. They finished him, in fact. I was just reading it, I was like, oh my God. Said the most abused president in the world. So, social media and word of mouth brought over 500,000 protesters to Ojota. But social media cannot fight an army. The minute all of us saw that there are soldiers on the road, how many people came out? Because we don't want to die. No, it's true, because we grew up in a military regime, and we know that, don't joke with soldiers. That's drilled into our head. If we had grown up in a different way, we would have probably been like, who are these soldiers? Come on, let's go on the street. Are they going to shoot us? You know, if it was a different country. You know, in Germany, for example, they cannot deploy the army to get protesters off the street. They just can't. And anybody would go on the street. And if they kill you, there will be a massive hoo-ha, and, you know, a lot of things would be blown out of proportion. So what happens post-Occupy Nigeria? What's next? There are different movements on the internet, the 20 million youths for 2015, Future Leader program by Fela Durotoye. There is a new Nigeria blueprint. There are multiple discussion forums going on Twitter with the hashtags Let's Talk, Let's Act. There's Nigerians Demand. There's Budget, which was actually before Occupy Nigeria, but I think it actually gained a lot of traction through it. Then there's Resource Dat, which also existed before. But out of all of these different initiatives that are post-Occupy Nigeria, I can see one trend, 2015. That number is the key. And that's the beginning of change. But we need to be ready. So is social media really change in Nigeria? Let's look at the pros and cons. So let's look at the pros first. So 70% of Nigeria's population is under 30. Nigerians are all over the world. That means that if I tweet to my friend that is in the US, people in the US will hear the story here, even if they kill me, right? Growing numbers of internet users and mobile and web together are, you know, going up. There's a high level of creativity of Nigerians. I mean, the drawings, the masquerades, it was amazing, the level of creativity that came out during Occupy Nigeria, and that is something that is being suppressed. And all of us are part of that suppression because we don't let it out. You know, Tosin said, you gotta be crazy. And you have to be. If not, you're not gonna achieve change because nobody will take you serious. They'll say, okay, you came for 1 week to be doing masquerade ball. Then you went back to your house, no problem. The educated segment of Nigerians is growing, and we have upcoming elections in 2015. Now, what are the cons? We still have relatively low internet penetration. We have low literacy. There's a language barrier. There are a lot of people who don't speak English or who can't read English. There is low political involvement, and this goes to each and every single person. How many people know their local government chairman? How many people know their senator? How many people know the House of Rep guy? I mean, we're just a bunch of disorganized youths and we're saying, yeah, change, change. No, there's not going to be any change if we don't stop being slacktivists. So we go online and we say, yes, we want this, we want that, and nothing after that. We just talk, and that's where it ends. Then we have a very short attention span. How many people are still talking about Occupy Nigeria? They're very, very few. It's the people who were really passionate about Nigeria who are still talking about it. The people who, during Occupy Nigeria, were getting people on the streets. Those are the people who are still talking about it. And those are the people that we need to actually lead us. And social media can only go so far. As I said, social media can't kill soldiers. So what are the key factors for change? Citizens need to be aware, informed, educated, enlightened, and in order to decide to participate in the change. So they have to be willing. They have to be ready. Campaigns must be in the forefront long enough to keep the top of the mind awareness and wait for slow government processes that bring policy change. Now, everybody knows how long it takes to pass an act, to pass a bill. If our campaigns are not every day you're seeing, we want this, we want this, we want this, you're going to forget that, yes, we said we want NEPA, but they still haven't brought light. Okay. Well, anyway, we are used to it. You know, Nigerians have a way of adapting. We adapt to every little thing. As Benga said, no light, we buy generator. No generator, we get an inverter. If there's no inverter, we'll find somebody that will be fanning us or something. You know? So citizens must also believe that they can create the change. Now, everything that was written on that board outside, if you don't believe that you can do that by yourself, go take your note down. Just take it down. Citizens have to have a roadmap for change and not just demands. Now, a lot of people are like, yes, we want this, we want this. How? Don't say I want if you don't have a solution. Go and figure out the solution. If we don't figure out the solutions for this country, we're not going to go anywhere. We're just going to be stuck. Because by the time the government actually says, oh yeah, okay, you young people, oh yeah, come. Stand here, line up. Oh yeah, be writing policy. Do our job now. We'll be worse than them. Worse than them because they know the system and we don't. We have no clue. And citizens must play an active part in transformation by ensuring that leaders are held accountable and using documented evidence as proof. Now, we all have cell phones. How many people have taken pictures of the potholes on their street? How many? Okay, one person here. 2 people. So we need to make sure that this is something that we just do. It's not something where we're like, okay, well, I'm waiting for, you know, Tosin to go and take the picture on my own road because me, I can't be bothered or something. No, I have to take responsibility. I want this change, so I have to go and make sure that that change happens. I need to go and figure out who is this person in the local government that is not doing his work. Where is that money going? Why is my street not tarred? Okay, so we need to make sure, because the only way that we can pressure this government is if we know our facts, if we know what we're talking about, and if we have proof. Because if you go to Jonathan and say, there are no potholes everywhere, there's this, he say where? Because he drives up and down Abuja and there are no potholes there. So can social media bring change in Nigeria? My answers are yes and no. Yes, through campaigns, text, audio, graphic, images, videos, but these need to be able to, first of all, be translated into multiple languages, and they need to be able to be taken offline. There's a minimal amount of Nigerians that is online that is engaged in this conversation. So during Occupy Nigeria, my sister and I and some friends, we printed flyers and we broke down the Nigerian budget for the presidency and what it could buy and how many people it could employ. And we went on the streets and we told people, come and look at these figures. Look at that, you know, the water that he uses to water his garden can buy 28 million sachets of pure water. Every person in Lagos can get 2. People were like, Auntie, I don't understand. I said, yes, that this is how much he eats. He said, Auntie, please, you have gone abroad. I said, yes, I have. He said, what? Is that how they eat over there? I said, no. I said, no, that's not how they eat over there. I said, they are stealing money. That's what they're doing. And the people started, you know, it started heated discussions. And people were like, this is absolutely ridiculous. They said, why can NLC and TUC not give us this information? And I said, I don't know, but you have to ask yourself, who is representing you? All of us closed our eyes and said, yes, TUC and NLC are representing us. They're not representing us. I represent myself, and I probably represent a lot of other people. But if I'm not ready to take that stand and get to that negotiating table, then we're not going to get anywhere. Because they will just say, I see these small, small girls and small, small boys. Leave them. So the campaign needs to also be led by a respected, known, and trusted individual or group in order to have credibility. The campaign must be crowdsourced in order to represent as many Nigerians as possible. So I cannot stand here and say that I am Nigeria. No, I'm not. I don't know what the Okada man wants. I don't know what you know, somebody who has 50 million naira in his bank account wants? I don't know. I know what I want. And that's what I can represent, and that's what I can, you know, spell demands out for. But if all of us don't say, this is what I want, this is what I want, and this is what the Okada man wants, because if not, we will get to a point where we're exactly like our government. We will be dictating that, yes, the masses need this, the masses need that. Did you ask them? Did you ask them? If you go and ask an Okada man, what is your biggest need? And he tells you something that you would have never even thought about, you'll be like, oh, wow, really? You need that? Oh, okay. You know, it can be something very, very simple. Maybe he wants running water to be able to wash his Okada. Maybe he wants to be able to be safe. Maybe he wants insurance. Who knows? Because nobody has asked him, right? So that's why we need campaigns that we can take offline and take to the streets. And then, can social media change Nigeria? No. Social media can help start the discussion for change, but it cannot bring the actual change. We need to be the change that we wish to see. So my conclusion is that social media can do a lot to help global visibility and aid with documentation and quick information dissemination. And social media does not replace the good old revolution, movement, or collaborative character change of a nation. And change comes from the people. The power is ours. So let's stop talking. Let's start acting. Thank you very much.